lot. Thanks for coming, everybody. It's wonderful to be here. It has been a 2-year process, and initially Alan asked me to come, and we got something on the calendar, and then because I hadn't written a book, they said, no, you can't come. So I actually wrote the book so I could come talk to you guys.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And interestingly, you know, I do this communications coaching, and I have been telling my clients for the past several years, you have 30 to 45 seconds to make an impression. And just last week I read an article actually analyzing TED Talks and what have made some of them more successful than the others. And that article said you actually have 7 seconds. 7 seconds. So I've either blown it with you or you think I have some credibility at this point. It's cooked. It's done at this point. Anyway, I want to focus on something today that I think you're all intimately involved with, but I suspect not very aware of. And that is this, your body. Your body as an instrument of communication, highly complex, very effective. But if you think of an instrument as a musical instrument, for example, a piano or a clarinet or a violin, if there's a broken key or a valve that's not working or a string on the violin that's not well tuned, it's almost impossible to listen to the music, no matter how well it's being played, because our ears go to those distractions. And they're almost impossible. You can work around it, and a musician can certainly work around that dent, right? But bodies as instruments, we take a lot of abuse over the course of a lifetime. And we have our own little places of denting, and that can really interrupt the flow of exchange, the connection that ensues. And one of the things that I tell all of my clients, and I work with very, very interesting people everywhere, is that I don't want you to not be you. You should be you, absolutely. You know, it's gorgeous, be you. But let's find the problem or the interruption to the connection. Because often what happens with me is I'm called in to work with people who are highly successful, who are being groomed for even greater success, but HR calls or a manager calls and says, there's something going on here with this individual, and if we can unlock that and figure out a way around it, they can really grow. So that's something I want to hit off right at the top, is that my goal is always to have you be absolutely authentically yourself. The 5 things I'm going to cover with you today. The first is how you communicate ultimately becomes what you communicate. How you do it. So I'll demonstrate that right now. So I really want to talk to you today about like how you communicate and how that's sort of like what you communicate. Thanks. Point made. Or I want to discuss how you communicate is what you communicate. Right? Just change your blood pressure a little bit there. Right? Tone, the instrument defines often what gets taken in. So how you do it becomes the what. Because if the how is really out of balance with the situation, we can't take in the what. The second thing I want to talk about is the stories that our bodies tell. Because our bodies are influenced deeply by their history and where we grew up, accidents, emotional trauma, a lot of things go into this thing that is ever changing. It's not constant. It is, you are not what you were 10 years ago. You will not be what you are in 10 years from now in this body. So the story that it tells is also very interesting to me and is very culturally influenced as well. I then want to focus a little bit on the fact that we're all communicating all the time in multiple ways, but are we connecting? Connecting is kind of a mystery and kind of fascinating and my personal obsession. What makes us connect to each other? How do we do that? And what are the blocks to that? Then I want to, for you Googlers specifically, want to talk about the data mining that our bodies do, because they are drawing information from ourselves constantly, all the time, and from each other. And how you tune into that data and how you make use of that data is very, very... Did you say data or data here? Which is it? Is there an either or? Either one? Okay, I'll switch back and forth. And lastly, I want to talk about embodiment itself, what it is, and how it impacts, how our bodies influence our thinking and our emotions, and then how our bodies influence each other. And I'm going to tell you many stories because I have wonderful ones from my clients, and they all sort of embody these concepts. So how you communicate.